Okay. All right. Oh, that's a little loud, actually. Are you recording?
Yes.
Would you like to clap?
Hi, my name is Marin.
My name is Johnny.
Welcome to the Sibling Scribbles.
The creative podcast about the sibling process.
That's the one.
That's
the
us.
very one. Today, if you can't tell by our amazing get-ups,
What's good?
we're homeless. So we're going to talk about that today.
Right, so we're starting a Patreon. Mom, I'm calling out to Mom. Please.
To all mom out there.
All Mom out there.
Today we're going to be talking about anime and the influence that it's had on media that we consume now, and also how it's changed.
And what we like about it. I mean, we kind of like anime. My goodness, we like it.
It's kind of fun. Especially because they pump out so many episodes.
Holy crap.
And there's infinite amount to watch.
Anyone who says that animation is expensive is lying. I've seen anime.
I watched it.
There's a lot of anime.
Okay, so for those haters out there, those non-soy boys, anime is just animation that's made in Japan.
It is just a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
It is just Japanese cartoons.
Right. But there's so much of it, and a lot of it's kind of bad and really bad. There's some pretty bad stuff out there.
I mean, but culturally, right? Culturally, we didn't have more adult animation until relatively more recently.
Much more recently.
Yeah. I mean, like The Simpsons, I guess, is like adult animation if you really want to be granular.
And that's pretty cheap to make too.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I've seen The Simpsons.
So there's a lot of it. And so a lot of us are like, ooh, I don't really know. That's kind of gross. There's a lot of crap out there. But it's like nowadays there's a lot more mainstream animes. There is so much to consume.
It's a lot easier to get into if you have the right like animes recommended to you, right? So let's start right there because there's so much to say. There's so much to say about anime.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good things to say, a lot of good things to say about writing, a lot of bad things to say. But I just want to say right here, right now, what are the 3 anime that you would show someone to get them into anime?
Oh, not my favorite then.
No, not your favorite.
Not my favorite.
We'll do favorites in a minute. We're just saying like gateway drug anime.
Studio Ghibli.
It's a whole studio.
Okay, Howl's Moving Castle.
Cool.
That is a perfect gateway drug. Anime.
Next to Black Tar Heroin.
Yeah, so you have to, after Studio Ghibli, Howl's Moving Castle, you have to take a step up. So I'd probably, or of like kind of intensity or anything like that, I'd probably show them My Hero.
Sure.
And then just say, we're going to practice getting through the first season of something.
My Hero Academia is the perfect example of just wait until season 2.
Yeah. And then season 3 is the best season.
Holy crap.
So
it's
good.
So good. The tournament arc is legendary. I straight up told people, I said, Haley, I love My Hero Academia. And she's like, I cannot get into it. And I said, skip season 1. They flash back to it constantly. You will not need to be updated. And I was like, just jump right to the tournament arc. And she was like, whatever. And then she was like, holy crap, this is sick.
Yeah.
She got all of her friends do the same thing. Just skip season 1.
I love My Hero. And when it first came out, I would say that. And people were like, well, I mean, it's kind of mainstream, so is it really an anime? I'm like, shut up, Naruto. Like, I don't want to hear it. Shove the 5 billion episodes down your throat and shut up.
Take your One Piece looking A. Get out of here.
Get the frick out of here. Yeah. But My Hero is really good. And then after that, I think you could recommend anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So what would you recommend?
I guess it kind of depends what they're into, because there's like the Fruits Basket kind of people, and then there's like Chainsaw Man kind of people. They're not the same people.
No, they are not. They are in fact not.
Maybe Demon Slayer. I think that would be a good one.
Demon Slayer's pretty mainstream. Demon Slayer's pretty chill.
So if you watched Howl's Moving Castle, then My Hero, and then Demon Slayer, I think you'd be on board.
Right.
And if after that you weren't, I would be like, really? You have bad taste.
I would after if they didn't like Demon Slayer, then I would pivot them to like a Fruits Basket or
something softer and sweet.
I would. So we're not too far off. We're not. I don't think we're too different. I would also start with a Studio Ghibli movie. I would recommend Nausicaa. Nausicaa is epic.
Yeah,
right?
but if you're kind of not into artsy films,
oh, you think it'd be too much?
it'd be too much. If we're talking like this is a Provo bro.
Oh, okay.
They've never seen anime before.
Then even Howls might be. I might give him Mononoke.
Yeah,
I might
that
give
would be good.
Mononoke is also a pretty good entry point.
It's got some Japanese flavor in it, but Miyazaki can't help himself.
The movie ends, and the first time you watch it, you feel a little unsatisfied as a Western viewer, and so you think to yourself, "How did I enjoy that so much, and yet I still don't understand it?" I think it has a little taste, it has a little flavor to it.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little spice, a little ramen, a little spicy ramen in there.
You said a little ramen, like you're adding ramen to something else.
I could just have a little ramen on that.
Yeah, so something Studio Ghibli, because I feel like that's an excellent entryway.
Yeah,
Because it's kind of a mix between Disney and anime.
it really is. I think that you're right about. I think that you're right about Nausicaa. If I did, I would. Maybe Kiki's Delivery Service. Right? If I
Yeah.
could swing it, if I was like, if you really are like a soft boy, right? Like maybe Kiki's Delivery Service actually is a pretty good one because it starts out as like, I'm a little girl and I'm going to be a witch. And then it's like, I don't think I want to work the rest of my life.
Have a pancake, Gigi.
So I might say Kiki's. I'm going to change mine. I'm going to say Kiki's is my
Okay.
is my opener.
Okay.
And then Spy Family is my follow-up.
That's actually so smart.
Spy Family is my follow-up.
That's smart.
It's not. It doesn't have a lot of pervy stuff in it. It is very Western. It's very like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it isn't like while it is like flavored as a spy thriller, it is a sitcom. It is a goofy, silly, stupid sitcom.
Yeah. Except instead of like them standing on the side and like sitting on a couch and talking, they like, kind of the camera pans over them and they like think it in their head. Like, good
Right.
thing he doesn't know that I'm actually an assassin.
Right, but like you also get the absolute goofiness of an underground tennis competition where people use
so
drugs and
good.
super technology to beat each other.
Forgot about that.
It's such a great,
funny.
so much fun. But
Yeah.
I think that like that's a really good one to just kind of litmus test.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you liked the humor, if you liked the action, if you liked the intrigue, like if they said I loved it, but it was too goofy and silly, then I'm like, okay, you like the mind games, I'm gonna give you Death Note, right? Like right, like if you like the
hate
action.
that show.
I also did you finish Death Note?
No, after the point where everyone quits, I also quit because it sucked after
Yeah,
that.
it does. It really does. You all know what part I'm talking about. It does. It really sucks. I thought for sure that he was gonna get like that was the moment. I was like, this is it. This is the big reveal. And then something else happened, and I was like, oh really? Oh. Okay.
For those people who don't know, Death
No, don't spoil it.
No. Death Note is a show about a guy who finds a journal and then he can write names into it, and then
That person dies.
Yeah.
Whatever name you write into the notebook, that person dies. And so he
it's a cop show. It's really good.
It's a psychological murder mystery, and it's amazing. What happens is someone else, this incredible detective, starts getting onto the tail of the person who's committing all these crimes. And it becomes this game of cat and mouse, this constant mental game of cat and mouse, and it's so good.
And there's also this really freaky monster that likes apples there.
Yeah, Shimigami love apples.
That's just the anime thing. That's the anime part of it.
They cast William Dafoe in the live action. He was the perfect casting for that.
Oh my gosh.
William Dafoe, Shimigami love apples.
Yeah, so it's actually because I like cop shows and like the mystery. It's really good, but the bad guy has kind of a god complex, and there are a lot of fans who really like that about
Right.
him.
It's like what's it called? American Psycho, where they like the main character. They actually idolize the god complex serial killer.
Yeah, like if people are like, "Oh, I love that show," like Light is just my favorite. It's like,
Nope. That's a red flag. If someone likes Death Note and idolizes Light, big red flag.
You can like Death Note. Death Note's fun.
Death Note's awesome.
But
if
like,
you don't love L, F off.
yeah. No.
So I would go Kiki's Delivery Service, Spy Family. So like we've kind of we're touching on this kind of stuff, and then I would go Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
No. Yes.
Full Metal
Good job.
So while we're on the subject, what are your I'll start.
Okay, you start with your
three favorite anime. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is
so
the GOAT.
So good.
It is the greatest of all time. The GOAT stands for the greatest of all time, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the GOAT. It is so good.
It's really good.
I know people who are like, I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't watch it. And I'm like, you have terrible taste. You have terrible taste. I'm sorry if you don't.
The dog episode.
No, you need to see the dog episode.
No way.
Absolutely. That is, look, it is the darkest
turned
point.
me off for like 5 years, and then I went back and watched it.
It is so, I had that spoiled for me like crazy early on.
Oh.
It is so, look, it is so important. It is so, because it never gets that dark again for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But it shows you, like, it ups the stakes.
Like,
just
this world is infinitely darker than you thought.
Yes, and I think that's amazing. I think it's so good. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is another one of those shows where you have to kind of just like stick with it,
Right.
and then once it like really picks up speed, you're like, oh, we're just blindingly fast here.
Beautiful characters, just really fun story, a lot of character growth.
Riza Hawkeye and Roy Mustang are just couple goals.
Oh my gosh, they're
couple
so
freaking
good.
goals. They never kiss, they never hold hands, but they have the greatest sexual chemistry of any characters I've ever seen on screen.
I don't know about that one, but
I'm gonna go with so Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is number one, followed up with Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop was it was the show that finally like really got me into anime. That was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like this is art. Like this is a real art form. Cowboy Bebop is for snobs. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I am a snob. I'm a proud snob. But Cowboy Bebop is for snobs, and I loved it. It is so good.
It's a very good show. 3.
Number 3. Okay, you're gonna. I was gonna say. I think it might actually be Spy Family. It might actually be Spy Family.
Cute.
But if it's not, then it is Love is War.
Oh my gosh. Okay, John got me to watch Love is War. He's like, you have to watch it, baby. And I was like, whatever. So I watched it. I gave up 3 times, and John's like, no, wait, just wait.
Gets so good. Love is War. I love Love is War. It is so good. It gets so it is everything about like it's a parody of anime, right? So most anime have people doing these internal monologues and these internal like battles between people, and like we were talking about with Death Note, where it is people kind of internally monologue about their plans to outthink the other person.
Yeah.
And Love is War is a parody of that. And so you have these two characters who are like so hyper intelligent that they're trying to constantly outplay each other. And instead they are just outplaying themselves all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious. I love it.
It's pretty funny. But also I was like, this is not my
Not your cup of
of soup.
I might say Spy Family. Spy Family got me through a lot. Haley and I struggled with infertility for a long time, and Spy Family was our comfort show. Where
so cute.
We were just like, we want to have a little family and be happy, and Spy Family was that for me. And so I might give it to Spy Family, but I love Love is War.
Yeah, so tie for 3rd place there.
Tie for 3rd place.
Yeah,
Yes. Give me your top 3.
Top 3 in no order. No particular order.
Sure.
I only do kind of an S tier system.
Sure. Yeah, it's a tiering system. I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
I love Fruits Basket.
Yes. That's a good show.
So Haley, John's wife, was like, you gotta watch it. And I was like, I'm so gonna do it. Did it start when I was living with you guys?
No.
Or was it after that?
I think, wait, the show started?
No. When Haley recommended it to me. Like,
it had to be when you guys lived with us. It had to be when you were crashing with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was homeless, and actually, and they let me crash at their place for a couple of weeks, so that was really nice.
We got evicted for it. Totally worth it. So friggin' worth it.
It was pretty fun.
It was awesome. It was so much fun.
But that show is just so wholesome. You watch the first one and you're like, wah, wah, and then you're like, wait, there's more.
Oh, right. So Fruits Basket and Full Metal Alchemist are both shows that had a season in like the 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah.
Where it was good, but it didn't follow the manga, which is the kind of the Japanese comic books. It didn't follow the manga exactly, and so they remade it in recent years. So Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is different from regular Full Metal Alchemist.
Don't watch
Full Metal Alchemist. Watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. 'Cause it's the remake, and the remake is incredible, and the Fruits Basket remake is incredible.
Everyone still has their weird pointy faces, but
the story is really good.
it's really fun.
Yeah,
And
it is.
when I first watched it, I got completely thrown for a twist. I was like, "What? This is awesome!" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's spicy!" And I was like, "What?"
And then you're
Freedom?
like, this is a supernatural, and like it's so good.
Oh, it's really good.
So good. Haley.
It's just sweet because it's a romance,
yeah,
kind of. But the romance is on the side, and like
Yes.
friendship is on the front burner. And I'm like, that's what I need. I need that wholesomeness in my life.
Haley. This was the show that got Haley to watch anime. Right, so when she was a teenager, she had a cousin recommend it to her, and she watched the original, and she was like, "Oh, I like this, even if it's crusty, and I'm gonna go buy all the manga and read it." And then when it was being rebooted, like right as we were starting dating, right, like 3 episodes were out when we had started dating. And so she was like, "Oh, we have to watch this." And I was like, "Well, if you want a girl to like you, you give her a cookie. And if you give a girl a cookie, then she's gonna want you to watch her favorite anime with her as it gets rebooted." and it was
slippery slope.
it's just a cliff. And it was she recommended, and so I watched it. I just bore with it, right? And at first, I did not like it. I was like, "This is some girly crap.
Yeah.
This is not for Johnny." And like after we'd watch it, we would watch Full Metal Alchemist because this was also when I was first getting into it. She introduced me to that as well. And then we watched Death Note together, and like we were just kind of going through all the big animes. But whenever we watched Fruits Basket, I was rolling my eyes and I was like, I don't freaking get this crap. We would be like a watch party. People from like across the hallway would hear the theme song and be like, "Are you guys watching Fruits Basket?" And they'd come in and would just watch the episode with us.
Yeah,
and
that would have been me.
it was like a whole event, and I was like, this is some girly bullcrap and I don't get it. And then the end of season 1 happened and I was like, oh wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute. Do I like this? Do I see the appeal? And it gets really good. It's a slow burn. Like Fruits Basket's an amazing introduction to like slow burn romance anime. And it's so good. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your top 3, but like
No. Really like Fruits Basket, and I just think it's so wholesome, and also there isn't enough good merch for it. So
No, there is not.
I want to make myself a cool art piece for my wall because I love that show. It's so good.
Top three, other 2.
Okay, top 3. I also like. I think I would say My Hero. I really like My Hero. For a little while, it was like I considered it one of my favorite movies because
you binge it,
right? Because I just love it so much. I love All Might, and just kind of the American feeling behind him, just like this super patriotic guy, and he's just super powerful, and he's gonna put himself in harm's way for the greater good constantly, and it really does have a toll on him. And the other characters recognize that, and they realize that's what it means to be a hero. I am going to save the world because I have this great influence in my life, and then they do. And I love All Might. I love Red Riot. It's so
Red
good.
Riot. Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's Red Riot.
And Fat Gum.
Fat Gum's great. Fat Gum and Red Riot.
Their arc is my comfort.
Arc.
That
arc is like brutal.
It's so good.
Scary. It's a Sword and Shield, right? It's the Sword and Shield episodes.
I think so.
Those are so good. They're very, very good episodes. My Hero, I really, really loved My Hero, and it was like my top anime for a while. And then I got really into the manga, and it would stress me out to watch and read it. And so I haven't like touched My Hero for years now because like it made me, I got so invested in the character. And there's the war arc that just happened. Like named characters just started dropping like flies.
Oh, woof.
And I was like, I don't know if I can watch.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I've been giving myself, I'm like,
Oh, you're giving
if I have one more year, I'm going to rewatch I'm gonna start the whole thing
Yeah,
over. So
you're
next
gonna-
summer I want to watch the whole thing again.
Okay, good. That's good because the new season is gonna be sick. The new season's gonna be dope.
Okay, little side tangent, and I know this is bad if you like anime, but I only watch anime dubbed.
Let's have that conversation. Let's do that. Let's do that next.
Okay.
Because
So you can attack me and hate me right now.
we'll do it in a second. So number
Okay.
three.
Number 3, I think Porco Rosso.
Hey, there he is on the wall.
My
He's
boy.
he's always in the podcast. He's always
He's
here.
a part of it. Just as an S tier.
Yes. Yes.
And you've already heard my rant about that. But I love that movie. I think it is just so wonderful. It's Japanese plus Italian plus fascism plus freedom plus airplanes plus love.
Better to be a pig than a fascist.
Yeah, it is a really fun movie, and a lot of people don't like it or haven't seen it. They kind of group it with like Pom Poko, and I'm like, get that crap out of here.
It's not
Which is also a good movie, but we're not talking about that right now.
I didn't understand. Every time I watch a Studio Ghibli movie, I don't understand it the first time I watch it, and then I go watch a video essay explaining it, and then I really love it.
I just think it's really fun, and so that one's definitely also my S tier.
It's one of the biggest issues that I have with anime is that unless you are already kind of in tune with Japanese sensibilities and Japanese storytelling, it can be difficult to appreciate some of these stories.
Right.
Mononoke and Nausicaa are two stories that like I watched them, I loved them, but I felt like I didn't catch everything. Or Spirited Away. Spirited Away was like not even
A lot
close
of
to my
people
favorite.
are really confused by that one.
But then I watched a video essay about it, and they were like, this is what the story is talking about. And then I was like, oh, that is a masterpiece. That might be one of the greatest movies ever made.
Super good.
It's very, very good. But Porco Rosso is another one of those where I started it the other day. We were just during dinner. I didn't finish it, but I started it, and I was like, oh, like this is like kind of like, especially now, right? We've got people are always talking about Nazis again, but like Porco Rosso is actually a movie about fascism, like really about like good men in fascism. And it's a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. And I think that's another reason why you love My Hero so much, right? It's because why most people can get into it, because it is so clearly like a love letter to American comics.
Yeah, it's a superhero show. And so, I mean, America kind of started the superhero thing. And even All Might, who's the main hero I was talking about earlier, he goes and studies in America. And
all of his signature moves are just the name of a state and then smash.
yeah, like Texas smash.
Delaware smash, and then
Yeah.
just punches as hard as he can.
Yeah,
it's great.
Really wonderful because I mean it's still an anime.
It's still an anime, yeah.
And so of course you have to like narrate your moves.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so those are my S tier. I only watch dubbed anime.
Only watch dubbed.
I only watch dubbed, but stop freaking out. It's because I'm an artist. And when I'm watching the show, I'm working on stuff. And animes kind of are really repetitive. And repetitive.
Side eye. Holy crap.
They repeat a lot. I mean, like you're watching first season of My Hero and you're like, Deku, grow a pair, move on.
We get it. You're sad.
We get it. You cried a lot. But and so I'm like, I'm just gonna draw. I'm gonna get my homework done. I'm gonna work on my projects. Art takes hours, and those are hours I want to spend watching TV. So I can do both.
I would have I think 6 months ago, I would have argued with you like as hard as I could have in favor of subtitles. So subtitles is subs and dubs is dub, right? It's an English dub. They've re-recorded all of the lines in English over the Japanese animation.
But a lot of people like the sub because they're like, that's how it was intended.
Right.
That has the voice actors that were casted originally that are like approved and stuff. And not all the time dubs are super approved.
Yeah.
Nowadays they're a lot better.
Yeah, subtitles it's when people are arguing in favor of subtitles, they're usually arguing like in favor of the original vision, right? I'm doing the little bunny ears, but the original vision. And I think that I would have agreed with that a long time ago, 6 months ago, not a long time ago. And then we had Roy, right? We had our baby boy. And I love Roy so much, but he is a handful. And he kind of wants you to always either be looking at him or holding him with both of your hands or playing with him in some way.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I realized the benefit of being able to watch TV without having to put like all of my attention into it.
Yeah.
Like last night, we watched Wish, and that's the conversation for another day. I have a whole rant prepared. It's cooking. I have a whole rant cooking. But
I gotta watch it first.
it's
Make my rant it
it's an experience.
in 1,000 years.
It's an experience. But I realized how beneficial it was to have something that you can kind of like not have to pay all of your attention to. There was a show called Police Squad forever ago, and it was written by some of the best comedians of their time. And it got canceled after one season because the producer or the executive at the company, who it's early. The executives.
Steven Spielberg.
Yes, Stevie showed up, and Stevie said, the people at the production company said, we can't do this because people actually have to pay attention to it to enjoy it. And at first I was like, that is such a shame because this show is hilarious. Like the visual comedy of this show is amazing. There's a dude who gets O.J. Simpson. There's a movie that's based on the TV show, and O.J. Simpson gets shot and falls into the water. And then when they show up to the crime scene, they have the chalk outline of his body floating in the water. And it is so funny.
That's hilarious.
It is amazing. It's real. They're hysterical.
Oh my God.
It is S-tier comedy.
That's good.
Truly hilarious stuff. But you need to be watching to enjoy it.
Oh.
And so I realized when you have a baby, when you're working on some other project, which I have become a lot more familiar with,
right.
Having a good dub is like really important. And something like in Cowboy Bebop's dub is actually widely considered better,
The better version.
than the Japanese
I've
dub.
heard that as well.
Yeah.
I like to think that the American dub is better than the Japanese dub for My Hero. A lot of people disagree with me.
Hard disagree.
Because some of the characters, because it's kind of related to American things, they'll just say American phrases kind of randomly, and it kind of adds to the comedy. But in English, you can't just say an English phrase.
If someone's like talking in Japanese and then suddenly they go like skibidi a toilet, right? Like, that is really funny because
or okie
okie-dokie, right? Like it's funny to hear.
That's funny.
It's funny to hear like the Japanese person saying the English phrase in a very Japanese accent, right?
Right.
And they know that too. That's why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. So it doesn't quite work. But I mean, Christian Bale voices Howl.
Ooh.
And
he's got that like smoky, sultry.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
What's the girl's name in that? What's the
Sophie.
Sophie, I'm a monster. You can't save me. And she's like, oh, Howl, I'll save you.
I'm a monster with a conveniently very attractive human form.
There is nothing.
And the witch in the back is like, Rah!
Okay. Sorry if I peeked the mic too much. But I have an interesting conversation to have about that, or a point to say about that. We watched, me and my friends, we went to a cabin for a weekend, and we watched Spirited Away. And I was going into Spirited Away with all of this new knowledge that I'd gained from the internet, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to appreciate this movie now. And they had like a ripped copy of Spirited Away, and so they had subtitles that were written and translated from the Japanese script, but they weren't the actual dub. So, or maybe it wasn't a ripped version, but the subtitles didn't match the English words that they were saying in the dub. Like the dub had been changed to match the lip flap, right? To match the way they were talking. And so they would say a line, and the line would be very different in the Japanese translation. So they had the English translation of the Japanese script underneath them, and then they were speaking the English translation by some other person. And the movie was significantly different with the knowledge you have from the subtitles.
Right.
And so like lost in translation is a real thing in a lot of animes, right? And so like it's like not just culturally, but also in literal like word changes.
Yeah, but like the way that we say things, like I don't know. I took one semester of Japanese, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, in Japanese, but like there are words of us being like, we're like literally translated. It'll be like, I will be back later. And what it kind of the feeling behind it though is like, see you later. I'll be back home. I'm going to school. I'll be back, kind of a thing, instead of I shall return. And so
Mother, I shall return.
right. So it's like there's translation and there is like interpretation.
Right.
And so it's like when you're an interpreter in ASL, I do know ASL very well. I'm very conversational in that. They're not called ASL translators. They're called interpreters because the feeling behind things is kind of how you understand it.
I'm fluent in Spanish, and there's some phrases that just they don't have the right. There's a phrase "no tengo ganas," right? It just means like I don't have the desire, I don't have the will to do this thing. But like, not really, right? Like I'm saying that, but like that's like literally all it says is like I'm not feeling it, right? But it's not that. Not exactly. Like there's actually like a new feeling that comes with the Spanish.
Yeah, so it's like in Japanese, like good dubs are going to be interpreting, and they're going to be catching the feeling that the Japanese is trying to give. Whatever. He should be about here so I can sit up.
Yeah.
So I can't do it. But a funny thing about dubs, I wanted to just say this because it was so funny. I just watched Psyche K.
Oh my gosh.
And I watched the first season of it because the person who sits across from me at work is like, I love it. That's probably the only anime I really actually like. And I was like,
dang, okay.
What? And she's like, and I've tried a lot of them. She doesn't have very good taste. But
this isn't the same chick who only watches Pirates of the Caribbean movies, right?
No.
Okay, different chick.
Different chick.
It's a wild group of people in the animation department.
Don't trust us. We really, you cannot trust us with your entertainment. But I was like, okay, I'll watch it. Because I'm like, let me see what... I am a huge, if someone suggests it, I will watch it unless I'm avidly against it.
Like a social watcher.
Right. A very social watcher. So I like talking about stuff, if you can't tell. But I watched it, and the voice actor for Psyche, the main character, who's kind of this distant guy, and he's a psychic secretly, and he's trying to keep everyone from knowing that he's a psychic, is the same voice actor as the main love interest in Fruits Basket. And I was like...
Wait a minute.
Kyo is the voice actor for Psyche. And so the entire time, I am like thinking about a different anime.
Yeah.
Which is the worst way. Like, I'm watching the show, I'm like, it's alright, right? I didn't really kind of like it until the very, very end. And still, I'm like, it's okay. But usually when people are watching something like, this isn't that great. But I was like, this isn't as good as one of my favorite animes of all time. And I'm like, I just wanted to watch Fruits Basket the entire season.
Yeah,
the entire thing.
Haley and her friends have this uncanny ability to identify voice actors from a single voice line. They can go, All Might. Like Bakugo. I know who that is.
Bakugo's voice is really
very distinct.
Very distinct.
Very, very distinct. But Haley and her friends can identify like almost any voice actor. Like it's truly insane.
That's pretty cool.
The only one I can do is Grey Delisle, right? Grey Delisle, who voices Azula.
Nice.
She's in. We have this inside joke.
She's in everything.
She's in everything. Like literally any cartoon, any stinking cartoon, Grey Delisle's in it. And plenty of anime too. And so we make the joke where if we recognize a voice actor, we go, "Oh my gosh, Grey Delisle!" Because we'll be watching like X-Men, and then like a villain will show up, and we'll be like, oh my gosh, that's Great Lyle. Like, holy cow, she's in everything. And so now it's anytime we recognize any voice actor, it's, oh my gosh, Great Lyle. Like, that's crazy.
She's so talented.
She's so talented. It's like Cowboy Bebop and like it's Spike.
Yeah.
Sorry, I need to find out if I'm really alive. Oh my gosh, Great Lyle. Like,
Bowser.
yeah.
Great Lyle.
It's Great Lyle. Holy cow. Very talented. Excellent voice.
But it kind of ruined Psyche though for me because
there's a better anime that you were thinking of the whole time.
I was thinking about Kyo and I love him. So it was very sad.
I don't think I have had an experience like that, but it was with Inside Out. The movie Inside Out has an all-star cast of popular
That's true.
voices, but it's like Leslie Knope and Phyllis from The Office
Yep.
and Mindy Kaling. And so like all I could see in my mind was Amy Poehler screaming at the top of her lungs.
Which tracks.
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. But but like all I could see was her face, and all I could see was these characters, like the whole movie. And so I liked the movie; it was fine, but like it was difficult to get over.
That's how I was watching Dune 2. Because they have so many famous people in it that it took me out of the experience every time they came on screen.
Really?
Every time.
I still haven't seen it. Roy makes it very difficult to go see movies.
That's right.
But I very much want to. I mean, you can't stand Zendaya though, so
Not a fan.
Not a fan of Zendaya.
And I also really don't like Midsummer Girl.
Oh, friggin' Florence Pugh.
Yeah, she's a very talented actress. She's very beautiful. Just not a huge fan of her.
Haley and I are huge fans of Florence Pugh until she was in Oppenheimer. That kind of killed it for us. But
she would come on screen, or Zendaya would come on screen. There was a girl that looked vaguely like Dakota Johnson, and you know how Dakota Johnson doesn't look special or isn't special.
Dakota Johnson.
She just looked kind of like her, and I was like, ugh, the porn girl. And then, oh gosh,
Okay,
Austin Butler is it?
We're talking about anime. Oh yeah, he plays Fade Rautha. Yeah.
And
he's Elvis.
I laughed the moment he came on screen.
Well, Paul Atreides, you are the Muad'Dib. A spice must flow.
Oh my gosh! That would have made it infinitely better.
He's doing his little leg thing during the sword knife fight.
Oh my gosh! Elation is what I'm experiencing.
We have like 5 minutes. I'm going to wrap this crap up.
Okay.
This episode was very all over the place. We have a cooler episode for the next time. We're going to record it right away after this. But the reason we're talking about anime is because last time we talked about how different cultures approach truth in different ways.
Yeah.
And those same truths resonate with us, even if they are told in different ways. And so, yes, there's cultural, truths that people really fight for that don't stick around, right? They're just fads. But there are anime and there are stories all over the world that hold truths in them that you can experience and enjoy. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is spectacular because it has a message about sacrifice and about friendship and about love and about fascism, actually, about it's not entirely fascist state, but that's a different conversation. But they have these conversations, and these anime, once you kind of get into the rhythm of these stories, they are powerful in their expression of those truths.
Yeah. Kind of to tag team that, it's just a lot of people don't appreciate anime, or they're like, I can't get into it. There is quite a bit of pervy humor in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And I also don't like that. It takes you out of the experience, which is the one thing you cannot do in media.
Cardinal sin.
It's really bad. And I'm not a fan of that either. But most people aren't a fan of that. And the people that are weird, and we don't talk to them. So it's, they're the kind of person who likes the bad guy in Death Note.
Yeah,
You're like, ooh, we're starting to put this together. So it's like, yes, you just press the skip 15 seconds button like the rest of us, and you just move on and can enjoy a really cool story. It's changed a lot over the years. Like if you watch an anime that's from the 90s versus if you watch an anime that was just made, vastly different. There's so much more American influence in the stuff. But even actually, if you watch something from the 90s, you're like, whoa, this is also very influenced by America.
If you watch Akira, I love Akira, and Akira is one of those anime that's very clearly inspired by and influenced by a lot of American things, and in turn it has inspired a lot of American things. Like anime has been this counterculture to America for so long. It's been a counterculture in America for so long that it in fact has actually adopted a lot of American attributes because people in America love it so much. But on the flip side, America has slowly begun to accept anime a lot more into its culture.
Yeah, there's plenty of bad animes. There's plenty of bad animes that people really like. There's animes that go on for forever and ever, and there's ones that end after like just a couple of seasons.
It's a very, very exciting medium to participate in and to consume because it is so different from like American network television. Right, Haley and I watched a season of it was Severance. We watched Severance, and Severance is an incredible Apple TV show.
So good.
But Severance, I really do think Severance is on the cutting edge of where we're going with storytelling next. They're doing this.
Oh, I hope so.
It's truly spectacular stuff. But Severance is the kind of show that really, really suffers from influence, like or suffering right now from the fact that there was a strike and the people in charge fight each other. Like there's a lot of little problems that are happening that are like Hollywood bullcrap, and there's a lot of shows that die from Hollywood bullcrap. Lots of them.
Good shows.
Yeah,
which is sad.
Yeah,
I hope this isn't one of them.
Yeah,
second season hasn't gone greenlit yet, I don't think.
No, they started filming.
Oh, thank goodness! Because when I watched it a few months ago, I was like, no, I need a season 2.
It is an excellent show, and they posted an image from filming. They started filming during 2023. They started filming a while ago, so we're good. We're in the clear. But anime is a very different culture, right? Most of it is inspired by novels and manga that are written and popular over in Japan.
A lot of World War II and dropping the bomb stuff.
Yeah, lots of
huge reaction.
Very, very inspired by our interactions with them, right? Japan is very much a culture that has evolved from. Like it had become modernized by other people invading it. And so,
which is kind of sad, but interesting how they take their stories.
Absolutely. There's so many stories about just monsters attacking, and you are a group of heroes fighting the invading monsters. It is permeated their culture for a century.
Yeah.
And so, for centuries, actually, plural. The new show Shogun is entirely about foreigners arriving and interfering in their samurai politics.
Yeah.
So what we're getting at is that there is a wide breadth of things to appreciate and enjoy. And Haley does this thing. This is the last thing. Haley does this thing where when she's looking for a new anime, she will open up Crunchyroll, which is the anime streaming app. Which is crazy that exists, but it exists. And she will just go through and watch the first few episodes of random shows that she thinks look interesting, and she'll just give it a taste.
Right.
And she'll just do that and then just be like, nope, that was kind of crap. And she'll just move on to a new one until we find something that we just love.
Right.
And we did recently. Haley, she was just kind of gunning through a handful of them, like, no, gross, no, gross, no, gross. And then she found one where this girl... it's like a really long name, like Seventh Incarnation. The villainess is reborn as is a very, very long humorous title. But she dies. There's an event in her life, and then 5 years from that event, she dies and gets reborn in that exact moment. And that moment is like arbitrary, like not very important. But every time she dies and comes back, she goes and she studies a new thing. And she learns all these new things until eventually the reason that she dies 5 years from that point is because there's a war that happens, a massive civil war that happens in her, with her countries. And there's one guy who always starts the war, and she always dies from this war. So in her sixth life, she becomes a soldier and tries to kill him, and he kills her. And so the opening of the show is him impaling her with a sword after killing all of her friends. And then she gets reborn, and he falls in love with her. And she is trying to stop the war from happening that will eventually lead to her grisly demise as she dates the man who killed her. And it's a really good show.
That is it's just the weirdest thing.
You're not going to get that crap in Hollywood.
No. I mean, we have, there are shows about the randomest crap, the randomest things. Like I just watched one about on Netflix, and it's this girl who hates boys, and she just wants her cat and chocolate.
And the video games. Oh my gosh, I've seen that.
Video games. And then as this magical creature shows up and is like, hey, you have to date boys. And if you do not find a romantic relationship, then I'm going to take these things forever. And so she takes the little creature takes those things and gets her to live basically a dating sim.
Right, live in a video game.
Right.
That's so. Haley was like, I'm not into it. And I'm like, this is hilarious.
It's so funny. And the best part about anime now is it's making fun of its own tropes.
Yeah, so you kind of do need to watch some of the stuff that takes itself seriously a little bit to get into the rest of the stuff. Like Love is War. You will not enjoy Love is War unless you already watched like Death Note and you're ready for a parody of Death Note.
Or Psyche K, you wouldn't even like blink an eye at, or
right. There's a whole culture there. So once again, watch our recommended. Our recommended are pretty safe options.
A lot of them are on normal streaming services.
Yeah, they're pretty mainstream now.
And if you are kind of like, ooh, I don't really know, watch the dub, because that will at least give you a little bridge of your own language.
Most dubs these days are actually pretty good. Most English dubs are pretty good now. Anyway, we have to end it here. We have to cut it short. But because I'm hungry and I want pancakes. Pancakes. Next episode we are doing is going to be a creative corner about a book that I want to write, and I'm putting it all on the line here. I'm very excited.
This is going to be the one he's working on after Bales, and it's super great. You should go and watch the next episode. He's pitched this story to me in the initial stages, but I'm really excited to hear where it's come. Where it's gone.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for that.
Go and watch that.
You can find our writing and our art on shepherdcalledbales.com. That's where our comic is, Shepherd Called Bales. You can find this podcast wherever you're watching it now. And you can find my writing on DriveThruRPG.
Hope you have a wonderful week.
Yeah, stay creative.